This week on the Mothership Podcast.
You ain't seen him when his jaws swinging.
Well, would I be able to see them anyway? These glasses ain't real. What was it, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? That's what you get for trying to be funny. Instead of just answering the goddamn question. Fucking hell, cut the camera, she's gonna die. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Also appreciating a lot of like 40s, 50s, 60s jazz at the moment as well.
Nice.
Just like comes from like the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Trying to break out of that.
Soul.
Of my
Race! Hi. We're black. Yeah, hello Earthlings. It's me, Alex Fincher.
I'm Melanin, Monroe. How you doing?
And we are back here at the Mothership Podcast. Today, we're
dressed like aunties.
Yeah, in it. You're like an auntie from like a neo-soul future. And I'm an auntie from like African mythology past. I don't know. We are tired today. We are so tired. What did we do yesterday? It was
the roast.
It was the roast of Terrace Mongardi. At this point, by the time this episode comes out, it's been and gone. But happy birthday, girl. Yeah, thank you for having us. It was a camp night. It was hilarious. Yeah. Like, oh no, Will told... See, before we start the episode, Will said, in this episode, we're not allowed to talk about other queens. So,
and it's the first minute.
Look, we can say nicely... Well, I think Tayrus was great last night. Rain was the biggest surprise.
That's bad.
Rain. No. Everyone was great. Everyone was honestly great.
Yeah, like even fucking Jack, who I've known for years, and I was surprised that she actually made people laugh.
Yeah, no, Jack was really funny.
I can't stand the bitch.
Yeah. But no, he seemed nice. I only had one read for him, and it was just...
You ain't seen him when his jaws swinging.
Well, would I be able to see them anyway? These glasses ain't real. But yeah, so we went out last night, and then after we went out, for some reason I ended up with 4 drag queens in my fucking flat. Jesus Christ. Everyone drunk, talking over each other, but it was so much fun. Like, it was such a cackle. Will, are you filming us?
I was doing my B-reel.
Oh. Okay. He's always doing some fuckery with his phone behind the camera.
How do you think we're doing the podcast?
No! Sorry, I meant Will's behind the camera and he's got like his phone out, and I was like, oh.
Also, I'm surprised you could see.
No, I was confused. I thought these were real glasses for a second. I thought I could see. Shit. It's a miracle! But yeah, so you left my flat at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you had to work at what time? What was it, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? That's what you get for trying to be funny. Instead of just answering the goddamn question. Fucking hell, cut the camera, she's gonna die. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So
well, that's karma.
So what was it, 8, 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many hours sleep did you have, like?
Not enough.
Yeah. I did sleep a bit, but then I don't know.
Jesus.
Just tired from a weekend of drag, so yeah. How are you doing, Will? You are back from Japan?
I'm back.
Yes.
I wish I
You're not
wasn't.
black, but
No.
you're back.
No, just so we're all aware. Yeah, I'm good. I am sad to be back in England.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah.
Not joking. No,
I'm really happy to be here either.
Yeah.
This time last year, I was in Trinidad.
I smoke a lot of weed. I don't know where I was this time last year, but but yes, was it a rewarding experience for you?
It was very rewarding.
Yeah.
We played some good gigs, did a lot of good things, saw a lot of good things, ate a lot of good things. I feel a bit bad because our tour was funded by like a cultural exchange program,
and you got pissed.
Yeah, we just went and had a party for 2 weeks. So we are welcome, Japan.
Look,
I mean, that is British culture.
Yeah, but also like you're allowed to have fun.
Yeah,
you're allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
Like that's you probably will go to Japan again, but that's it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, we partied with all the people we met.
And you still did your job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, that's what I tell addicts, yeah. I'm like, look, if you're functioning, you're still doing your job, it's all right. It's all good. Just keep doing it.
I just need to legally state we are not doctors or mental health professionals, so...
These guys
and we don't advocate for her.
I'm a medical professional, they're not. So you can trust my
medical
word.
professional in what? Foolishness?
I'm an eyelash technician.
I see you wear them again today.
No, I did not wear them today. Girl, I'm tired, bitch. I forgot. I was so convinced when I packed my bag. So I know I'm actually not mad at this like half and half look. But when I tell you, I was convinced I packed everything I needed. I packed barely anything. I'm wearing like 2 layers of tights. Like, and for drag, that's ridiculous.
Nothing.
That's not even drag. Like, that's just walking to shops. Like, but anyway.
Well...
Yeah.
Apparently, no tights and no.
Girl, we can't start shading people. Will have us. Yeah, he will have us. But
you know what?
We're not allowed to say that or the C word. Okay.
The first time you do either of those things, that's where the episode ends.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Crack. We're done. Let's go. We're out of here. Sorry, I'll stop saying crack. That will be the last time I say crack. I absolutely promise.
Crack?
Yeah, Mel, don't say crack.
Oh, I won't say crack.
Okay, good. Yeah.
That's one.
I'm going to press stop. I'm going to do it.
Okay, so what are we talking about today, Melanin?
We're going to talk about music.
Oh my god.
Oh no. And again, it's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be one of many. Because there's so much to talk about, and I think we can definitely get some really cool guests.
Yeah, for sure. But for today, we'll just have a chat. I mean, so how do we want to start? Do we want to talk about, like, we can't start this episode without saying, both, if y'all are not aware, both me and Will are both musicians. And would you consider yourself a musician?
To a point. So I did music as a GCSE. I can play a couple of instruments passably well, and then I have dabbled in about 6 others and know how to get my way around them if I need to, like, be like, I want this sound and I kind of want it to sound a little bit like this. Even if I fumble around for a bit, I still kind of know my way around them.
See, I will say I'm for sure a singer-songwriter. I will say I can play piano well enough to write, produce and accompany myself, and I have also dabbled in other instruments as well. However, I choose not to tell people that because what I learned going to Brit school, if you mention even just in one conversation that you played or you picked up, like one time, like, because I'm in a performance in one of the schools I went to in London, I played a cello. Mention that at Brit school, and then they're like, oh, so we're thinking for the next performance get you on no. Don't even no. Oh, maybe you can play some bass this time. No, thank you. So yeah, but yeah, like Will, I mean, we know what you play, but why don't you tell the audience what you play, what you can do?
Well, I am a session drummer. I'm a music producer. I'm a recording engineer. I'm a mastering engineer. I'm a mix engineer. I'm a sound designer, editor.
Instruments?
I could go on. Drums.
Yeah,
I like drums.
You play more than drums.
This is the problem, right? Okay, because I really it irks me when people say, "Oh, I can play this and this and this and this and this," but actually, what they mean is they can play 1 or 2 things really well, and they can maybe play like a really simple melody. I don't consider
That was
myself a
the
guitar
point.
player.
Hold up. But what you just said applies to someone like me, and that's exactly why I said what I said about my skill set. However, Will is underselling himself because he is a guitarist. He is a pianist. You can make that face all you want, but I don't think
Again,
I'm
the one
known.
time she chooses to see.
I don't think I'm known for just saying like shit to blow stuff up people's ass. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm known for that. Like, I can safely say, as someone who has worked with Will for many years musically, you are those things. So
Thank you.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't need to thank me. I'm just stating facts. Yeah. I'm just stating facts. No, but seriously, like you definitely are. Like you have played. I think you have done all of those things on stage.
Yeah.
There you go.
Playing more than one song. Doing like a set. So therefore, shut your mouth. Game recognizes game, except I can't play the fucking drums. Never. Like I could probably pick up a guitar and do some things.
Drums I have a very weird thing with. So I can do just my hands, or I can do like a double pedal, which is really weird. But trying to do all of it at the same time, awful.
Yeah, girl.
Unless I've had quite a few drinks.
There
And
is
then I
nothing
can kind of
in life.
disconnect enough to get not anything at pace.
Yeah.
But
Because
I
I
can
feel
actually
like I have
disconnect
quite solid rhythm. I don't understand. I think it's got to be hand-eye coordination, like for drums. But I just can't. My brain just can't do
that's
it.
the thing.
Because you've tried to teach me stuff and I can't fucking do it.
In my head, it's very different to just hand-eye coordination, though, because you have to disassociate. Because your body wants to do things in kind of equal parts. It doesn't want to be like.
Well, maybe
like
instead
weird.
of us trying to make up some gobbledygook, why don't we ask the actual drummer who's right here? What would you say in relation to this, Will?
Well, it's called limb independence.
Oh, okay.
And what you need to do, a good way to learn that, and this is a tip for everyone out there if you're trying to learn the drums, is just play one thing with one limb, so one hand, and then play another thing with the other hand, and then play it really slowly and try and get those rhythms in time. But it's really hard.
So similar
Really hard.
technique to learning like dance moves that you don't know how to do. Like I'll like isolate it and I'll be like, okay, what is this arm doing? What's this arm doing? And then trying to like put it all together and then.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I am a terrible dancer. And it really irks me because I'm like, I should be a good dancer technically because I have good rhythm. I have good limb independence. Why can't I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
I can dance. I can't fucking play the drums for shit. No, not at all. But what is I guess this is kind of like a hard question. Like even for myself, I'm like, oh god, how would I even answer this? But like, what's everyone's like kind of like first experiences with music
Ooh.
that you can remember, or like something that was impactful?
Well, growing up, my mum is a DJ, so we were always surrounded by music. My uncle, her brother, is a bassist in a band. Can't actually remember what his band's called. Oh god, he's going to kill me because he actually watches.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Hey, let us know in the comments what's the name of your band.
It has been years since like I've properly spoken to him about his band though. But he plays bass.
But what, seeing him perform was like your first experience?
I've not actually seen him perform.
Oh.
I've heard some of their stuff. I've not seen them perform.
Yeah. So what was it growing up with your mum being a DJ? Was that like your...
So obviously R&B was predominant, but also my mum has quite eclectic taste as well. So we would hear house, garage, jungle, because that's also what she used to play.
Yeah.
But her thing in the car when going to gigs was playing classical music.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, like just little things here and there would creep in. So like little bits of jazz and then the occasional rock song. She doesn't go as heavy as I do.
So what was like, do you have like a singular like moment that got you in, like even like music that got you into performing? Like, or can you not really like isolate something?
Well, my whole performance story is a whole thing within itself.
Right. But not to do with music.
It is, but also isn't. So I started performing as Mel in order to get back into being creative.
Yeah.
And what I stopped myself from doing for so many years, because I was doing music, happily working on things, and then during secondary school, when I was feeling more confident about myself and just kind of getting to grips with how I was musically, that's when the brain kicked in and was like, you're crap at doing everything.
Right.
So then slowly, even though I was still wanting to do music and pursue it because I wanted to be able to do as many parts of like game design as possible. So like kind of like how you do your own music, but also with a little bit of help here and there. Like I wanted to be able to code something, but then go on the keyboard,
I see what you
do
mean.
my own little melody for a
Yeah, because that's how I learned how to do most of my stuff. It was like, obviously I went to like performing arts school and learned music production there, but like a lot of the stuff was like me working with so many producers and just being like pissed off, being like waiting for so many things or stuff not sounding. Like luckily now I've been working with Will. Like how long have we been working together, Will? I want to say we met in 2015.
Yeah.
So what year is it now?
2023.
So how many years is it?
8.
8 years. That probably does sound about right, to be fair.
Yeah.
That does sound about right. God,
Yeah.
look at him. His hair's growing grey. He's fucking
from
Your
stress.
hair's not really growing grey.
From
sorry.
stress.
Yeah, no. That was the joke. That was the joke.
I thought you were just calling me old.
No, I wasn't.
It's true.
But I'll always remind you you're a year older than me. I will always remind you.
Yeah.
But no, so what about you, Will? What got you into music?
It's kind of a similar story to Melon, that there were so many things I liked, and music was probably the most effort, so I didn't really want to do it. I was like, oh, but computer games, that's really fun. And then I had drum lessons when I was a kid, and because I was just such a nerd, computers always kind of just made sense. So I went to college and just did music for 2 years, like performance and composition, and that was great. And then because I was in the studio all the time, I just was like, yeah, this is really easy. Production is cool. But again, like you, I was like, I can't be bothered to get a guitarist in because working for people is hard. I'll just do it myself. And that's where you kind of pick it up over the years.
Yeah. Well, because honestly, and I don't know, like, obviously when we met, we both already had we had both studied music and done whatever like separately. So we came with like different knowledge. But honestly, I feel like the most I've learned from like songwriting and production, and obviously because we've had opportunities where we've been able to like experiment with different genres, maybe not always our choice, but sorry, I ain't gonna throw no shade this episode. We don't want to bleep nothing out, but
I've heard this story.
But yeah, like I feel like in the time we've worked together, because we not only did we work together but worked with other people, like I've learnt the most about songwriting and production, like but yeah.
And it turns out just a couple years before I met you, I had a really basic interface and a really basic microphone, and I was recording me and a mate's music, and I was like adding my own guitar solo to it and producing it, and I thought it was cool. And I only learned like 5 years ago that guy got really pissed off at me and like semi hates me because he felt that I was ruining his music and taking it away from him, stealing it. But I was like, no, I was just doing production.
Oh my god!
And my mutual friends were like, no, even to this day he has a big problem with you. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is crazy because, like, oh, dude, I don't know. I don't really know if I'm like a grudge holder, but I will like always. I guess that is holding a grudge. I was gonna say like I will stop being angry about it, but I'll never forget. Do you know what I mean? And then I will never look at you the same. But there was this. I had this similar thing where this. I won't say. Oh God, that was close. I won't say her name because she is Brighton based. But there's this singer in Brighton who was convinced that I had stolen her logo. And this is back in the day before I was Alex, when I was under a different name, doing things. And now when I say the only
logo,
so we both of our logos were just our initials in black and white, but looked totally like, when I say looked totally different letters, different font, all of that. And she months and months this beef went on. I was not fueling it at all. She just kept always bringing it up. It'd just be, but anyway. But yeah, people can hold on to grudges for... people be crazy.
People be crazy.
People be crazy. Crackheads be cracking. But yeah. So what do you think kind of switched for you in getting you into music in the way you were? Was it doing these things like with your friend before? Before me, apparently.
I'm sorry.
Fucking hell.
You know what? I think this is horrible, but I think when I was in college and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant, but like I was one of the more technically advanced drummers. And so I was quite in demand and doing lots of gigs and like partying. And I think I'm glad I went through that now, because that rock star life, partying and gigging really got to me ego wise. And then I kind of got into the real world of music out of college. And I was like, oh, actually, I'm not that good. I need to brush up. And that brought me back down. So I think that's what made me stick with it.
Yeah.
Was the fact that I felt really good doing these things and it was really fun and really great. And then in the real world, I was like, this is actually quite a big challenge.
Yeah.
But I like that. And, you know, making records is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Records, I never say that, but I like it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So there.
should I say mine, or are we going to break?
No, you should say yours.
Okay, well, mine's a bit difficult to kind of pinpoint. I know I've always been like into music, but I never thought, I think I've said this before in previous episodes, like I never really thought becoming like a performer or like a solo artist or like the person, the front person at the stage. I didn't think that was like possible. But for me, I think the first thing that really got me singing, like, and put me on the path that I'm on now, like, obviously there were like pieces of music and albums and stuff I fell in love with before, but it was honestly like Destiny's Child's second to last and last album, because when they came out I was really young and I was just singing along and dancing along because I loved it. But I was essentially doing what I do nowadays, where I'll like, you know, in my spare time, choreograph, singing the harmonies. Like, that's how I learned how to do, I knew how to do harmonies before I knew what a harmony was. Because for me, I would just, today I'm Beyonce, so I sing Beyonce's parts. Today I'm Michelle, so I'll do Michelle's parts. Now I'll do Kelly's parts. Like, do you know, and I would just play around and sing their parts, and that's how I learned how to harmonize. It's how I learned how to riff.
And you always catch us.
Yeah.
Forever doing the harmonies to whoever's singing about.
Yeah, but my mum always used to catch me, like, and if I ever noticed that she caught me, I'd like stop straight away, and she would always try and get me to sing. And then skipping ahead, because like there was, before I went to Brit school, there were like other schools I went to where like teachers discovered I could sing, so they'd like put me into shows, not like force me, but like, you know,
Why don't you
kind
try
of
that?
yeah, and like the but anyway, so when I got to Brit school, like it was like I was like let loose out of my shell, like because I did love writing music, and I did love, even for my audition for Brit school, I did an original song. It was a mess. I mean, for what I could do at the time with like no music knowledge, it was fine. But the few times I've been able to find that song in my archive, oh my God, it is just awful. No one will ever listen to it. No one will ever read the lyrics.
In the same way that no one will see me at that Michelle.
Oh yeah. But so then going to Brit school, like I learned about music theory. Like learning about music theory and music production really like changed my whole existence, because it went from knowing, like loving music, and I obviously still love music, but then it went to understanding music, and that like totally changed my brain. Like it just changed, because all of these things that I love about me, like I love songwriting, because for me I feel like, I don't know how other songwriters do this, how they get their songs out, but for me I feel like I put my thoughts into the lyrics, but my feelings and emotions into the music. So even if like a song is like super braggadocious, like some of the most recent stuff I've been writing, a bit more like bad bitch, but then like the music underneath, but then the music underneath could be like I could have been going through like some serious like heartache during that time, and you know I've put that heartache into the strings or into the look. I know I sound so bright and stoner hippie right now, but like it honestly is the truth. Like it's the truth.
No, but just knowing the way that you have written your songs.
Yeah.
So like obviously we were talking about this the other day as well. Like one of my favourite songs of yours is one that most people probably wouldn't expect you to like.
Hunters.
Yeah.
Hunters, I think, like, no, Whispers has got to be your favourite, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Whispers is, but Hunters is the most memorable, the most bespoke writing process, because you came to me with, like, a voice note of you going...
Yeah.
You wanted this fight, you wanted this fight, screaming for attention, well now you have mine.
So it should go.
That is how I.
And I have to shout out Will, because like the way, like I just know that we will continue doing music together for a long time, because there is no one else that I can just like. Will has to
Send the
literally.
voice note like that.
No, it's not even that. Like we'll be working in the studio. And Will in it, I'll be like, I just to get my point across. I'm not even saying words. I'll just be like, we need a, but then we need it to go. Like, do you know what I mean? Am I lying though?
Yeah, but I love that. That's great, and I think like I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but music is a language.
Yeah, no,
you know?
for real.
And like you've got your technical theory language,
Yeah.
and then you've got your abstract language.
What
David Bowie used to write by just going like that.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, but that's the thing I do. I do a lot of my writing like from my voice, because that is my first instrument. Like obviously I do write on the piano as well, but like that is where, because I can hear it all in my head, and it's about just like getting it out. But one of my favorite memories of me, I spoke about this recently, but I don't think on the podcast. Maybe we were just speaking about it to someone in general. But when we were watching The Fifth Element for the first time, and then Will like paused the film and goes, your whole life makes sense to me now. Like every single piece of music we've ever worked on makes sense. Like this is what inspired you, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it was.
Yes.
It was. That film inspires me in so many ways, and it did start. It probably was one of my first loves of music. Because the music in that film, I think sometimes it's so subtle, sometimes it's so dramatic, but even that's like the obvious choice. But even some of like the background, like the musical choices in that film are just like impeccable, honestly. But so that kind of got me into like going to Brit school, especially like when I was 14. Like changed my mind, and you know I don't think I'll ever, even if I was to lose my voice, I don't think I'd ever stop writing music. I think I would write music in some way.
Yeah, definitely. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid.
No, I mean, back in the day, I think it was something that I would think, because one time I lost my voice for 6 months because of this severe case of tonsillitis, and it was a dark time. It was dark time. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. However, as I've grown older and you know, I think I would adjust. It would be hard, but if I ever lost my voice, like I would still do something creative. I would just have to adjust, but I wouldn't. Back in the day, I might have considered more drastic measures of, you know, this is the end of the road, but but now I think, you know, I just you know, hop onto the different road, you know, you know, become a crack dealer. Why not?
Not the crack.
Why
again.
not? Oh God, stop saying crack, Mel.
I didn't say crack. You
Oh
said
my
crack.
God. Wait, did I say crack first?
Yes, you said crack.
But then when did you say crack?
Said crack after you said crack.
Y'all better start paying me.
The Patreon's coming, guys. It's coming. It's coming. Okay, should we take a break?
Yes.
All right. Don't you clickety clack.
We blackety black.
And we'll be right back.
No.
And we're black. Right. Well, now let's. God, this is such like. God, I told y'all we're tired. So there ain't no structure to this one. Maybe we should talk about some of our like favorite artists, like who. Well, why don't you start? Well, I know who you're gonna say.
Well, I don't know if you do, because when I was young, I had a really basic bitch taste of like, I like Green Day, I like the Foo Fighters, which is great, and I'm not ashamed of that. But now I've really enjoyed branching out into like lots of like fusion genres, not fusion, but like blends of genres, like Thundercat, and I'm really into, I guess, like jazz electronica blends.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You were listening to Dream Theater the other day as well.
Yep, Dream Theater, that's cool, a bit heavy. I'm really into a band at the moment called Covet. They're like a kind of math rock instrumental melodic band.
Oh, nice.
Like Polyphia,
yes,
stuff like that.
Polyphia is one of my favourite bands.
Yeah. But I'm also appreciating a lot of like 40s, 50s, 60s jazz at the moment as well.
Nice.
Just like comes from like the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Trying to break out of that.
Soul.
Of my
race. Sorry.
Your turn.
Me?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, okay. Well, I think everyone knows my number one artist is Beyonce. But like, and again, kind of like you, like, I know. I've been keeping it secret for so long.
Not Taylor Swift.
No, but I'm gonna give Taylor Swift props. This Eras tour, what she's doing, is a movie. It is. I was on the phone to Will the other day, and I was literally, we were talking about some important shit, and then I just stopped talking, and he was like, hello, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And then she just got distracted by a video of Taylor Swift. This never happens. Like, usually I just go, ugh, and just, but she did this.
And I saw.
Anyway, no, moving on. We'll put the picture of the ting in the ting. But anyway, so Beyonce, number one. I don't think I need to explain. I think y'all get it. So moving away from Beyonce, obviously, like, I have a deep love for R&B music and for soul music and for hip hop music and, you know, just black
music.
Yeah, you know, because that's what I was raised on. My mum, and jazz as well. Like, my mum is a massive jazz fan. But people that I, you know, for me, some of my favorite artists are obviously some of my biggest inspirations as well. So, especially in the R&B world. So for me, it's like Toni Braxton. Someone at a brunch the other day, when I came off stage, was like, she literally sounds like Toni Braxton. I was like,
I'll take it.
I'll take it and run with it. But yeah, so Toni Braxton, Prince, obviously, Whitney, of course. Some new artists, like, I am so inspired. Kind of like, I'm not saying Doja Cat is the next Beyonce, but in the way Beyonce inspires me, Doja Cat is like that same kind of ilk. Where it's like everything Doja Cat does, I'm like, you are that fucking bitch. Like, just every fucking thing she does is just, it's never subpar. It's never subpar. Everything she does is on the next. And you know, for me, what really makes me fall in love with an artist is how they perform live. And Doja Cat pisses all over the fucking stage. All over the fucking stage. Tinashe, I feel like, is my musical soulmate. I feel like our musical, the way we work musically, obviously I've never worked with her, but I feel like the way we work musically is almost identical. Like, honestly, like, seriously, honestly, like, I've been following Tinashe since before she was signed. But she, like, I just feel like Tinashe, if we did a track together, it would be something else. However, you got to tone down the choreo, girl, because I cannot keep up with that. We can do a little. Think more when you danced with Britney Spears for Summer Party. More that kind of level. I can do that, but I can't do no bouncing or no Pasadena. I will fall down dead.
The choreography.
Oh yeah, it's so good. So good, but I could not. But yeah, and then obviously there are way more R&B artists, but to move away, like, obviously Will's already said Polyphia. I'm a I like grew up on R&B and jazz, and then my mum is also like into like rock, but I really got into like rock and heavy metal music when I moved to Eastbourne, because Eastbourne put the E in emo. Let me tell you, Eastbourne is a emo kind of, or at least when I lived there, and so fell in love with the obvious ones, Paramore. Like
Well-
I was already into Evanescence because, to be fair, I loved rock music, I loved singing, and Evanescence at the time was the only thing I could sing because all the men's voices were too low for me at the time. But yeah, Paramore is like, again, kind of in the same ilk of like Beyonce, in the way that, especially like Hayley Williams as a vocalist is like, I think, especially when I tell people that, they go, oh, I can hear it now. Like when I'm like, oh, Hayley Williams is like a big vocal inspiration for me, and they're like, oh, I can hear it now, and I'm like, yeah. But yeah.
But also, one thing I just want to add to the fact of like Paramore being in your list is the fact that almost every alternative black person will have Paramore.
Oh, for sure. For sure,
Without
because
fail.
she can sing.
Yeah.
Like, Hayley can sing, like, and she has soul in her voice. Like, she has soul in her voice. So I think that's why a lot of black people gravitate towards her. But for me, for heavy metal, I mean, there are loads of, like, heavy metal bands with vocalists that I love, like the obvious ones like Slipknot. I love, like, Bullet for My Valentine. And, yeah, even, like, I don't really know if I would call them heavy metal. But like, would you say Enter Shikari is? They're kind of like
They're like alternative metal.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
got like that like
They did have a heavy era, but
yeah. There are some bands that I did love, but you know, controversial now, so I won't say. But yeah, but like in recent years, I've really loved like progressive metal, but especially like instrumental metal. Like I mean, yeah. Like, but if you walk up towards my flat, you can usually just get the smell of weed, incense, and the sound of progressive metal playing from my speakers. But yeah, Polyphia's up there. Animals as Leaders. God, Modern Day Babylon. Modern Day Babylon are so fucking sick. And I don't actually think they've had an album out in ages, so I'm a bit annoyed with them. But that's alright. But yeah, I could go on for ages with all the different genres I like. I think anyone that's like listening to my music can tell that like I'm a mess. The best thing is when people come round and hang out with me and then I just leave my music on shuffle and about 5 songs in, someone will just go, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, how does it just go from Beyonce Freakum Dress to fucking, you know...
Meshuggah.
Yeah. And then we'll go to, like, a piece of music from, like, Interstellar or fucking, you know, or,
Because-
something, Fifth Element.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so my music taste is, like, all over the place, but yeah, that is kind of reflected in my own music. But yeah, I like having an eclectic music taste. It means because for me, like, I like, you know, depending on the season, depending on the time of day, depending on what you're doing, like, you know, the same songs I'm listening to walking on the downs are not the same songs I'm listening to when I'm fucking someone. It's not the same songs. You can't just have... There's crossovers, but there ain't, like, you know, you don't just copy and paste the same playlist. You gotta have different vibes. Tinashe works for all scenarios. She was... And that's another thing that can make me fall in love with an artist. I like artists that give you an array of vibes. Like, of course, everyone's got their own genre and got their own thing, but within that, if you can give me like a different, like someone like Tinashe or like Beyonce or Doja Cat even, you know, you could go to their discography or even on one of their albums and you will be elated with joy. You'll be melancholy with nostalgic sadness. You could be, you know, horny. You could be, you know, you could get, you feel like a bad bitch. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different. You can get angry and stuff. Like, I think that's why like Lemonade is probably my favorite album of all time because it just hits every fucking emotion like all the way through. I really appreciate artists that do that, and I think that's another reason why when I first went into rock music, like Paramore was one of the first at that time new modern bands that I like gravitated towards. But yeah, so that's me, a mess.
And then there's me, also a mess.
Yeah. So who are some of your favorite artists?
Well, as you know from the roast, I have quite a very weird taste in music. Most of it is not in English. it's usually in Japanese or Korean. One of my favourite bands, controversial name, called Lynch. Brilliant band. They've also just signed with my friend's record label, JPU Records.
And they go, keep that name. Honey Boo.
Hey,
Lynch.
they are fucking brilliant.
How's it spelt?
How do you think?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just got a full stop on the end.
So when they're waiting to come up on stage, their crowd's shouting, Lynch! 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 Lynch!
No, it's usually fan chants of different things because, again, that's a whole other kettle of fish in Japan.
Why? What else? No, I was going to take the joke way too far. I was going to take it way too far. Move on. Move on.
I know exactly where you were going with that.
I've been looking them up, and here's a fact to segue. I didn't know they had 12 albums.
Wow. How long have they been around?
Since 2000... Well, 2007 was the proper formation of the band, but I think they've been around since 2001. Maybe.
Wikipedia says 2004.
Oh.
Okay.
But that's a lot of albums.
Yes.
Beyonce's first album came out then.
Beyonce.
Yeah, I do say.
Jesus. But yeah, my tastes are all over the shop. As I said, my mum played a variety of different stuff, so she would also make her own mixes to play because she was also on radio. We also lived above the original drummer for Jamiroquai's flat.
Oh, Kemp.
And then he moved. But my mum has stories of when she would just be invited over to chill with Jamiroquai just smoking.
Right, yeah.
Which was quite nice to hear about. But yeah, I draw loads of inspiration from all over the place. Like, you'll probably get me more once I show you some of like my more random spots of music.
Yeah.
And then when like I'm gonna show you some of my stuff, you'll be like, okay, I see now.
Yeah.
But it's most of my taste is Japanese visual kei, which is an umbrella genre. So it stemmed from glam rock, but has heavy metal. Lynch is a Nagoya kei band, so they're more influenced.
I just tense up every time I hear it. Honestly, I just tense up. I'm like, oh. But yeah, sorry, go on.
But they're based on like more British influences for rock, so they're more kind of akin to like Placebo, Muse.
Oh, okay.
A little bit heavier, a little bit more grungy.
Yeah.
Combine like, if you were to combine Placebo, Muse, The Cure, kind of into one, that's kind of where you get them.
Right.
I love noise music, so like Plastic Tree, brilliant noise band. Although it's really annoying that all their stuff isn't on streaming platforms, which is why I'm so glad I still have my downloaded music. That's another thing. Japan, fix up your music libraries, because it's fucked. It's fucked. Half your bands aren't on there. Half of them are under someone else's name. Just fix it. Fix it, please.
Or she coming for you.
We're coming for you.
But I also like really poppy stuff. So like most people, when they see me, I'm dressed completely gothic.
Yeah.
Boots, piercings all everywhere. So they just assume I'm into metal.
Yeah.
And goth stuff.
Yeah.
When actually I have really cheesy taste as well. So like I will go from listening to bands like Death Gaze, Five Finger Death Punch, Meshuggah, to Kyari Pamu Piamu, and Perfume, and
So Lynch.
Mamamoo as well. Just like these really poppy, happy clappy things, and then I can easily go into like house, trance, industrial, classical, jazz. I like flamenco music as well.
Yeah.
Bhangra. Oh my god. One of my favourite things growing up was my mum, if she was really not bothered, we would always get a cab somewhere.
Right.
And for whatever reason, there would always just be Bhangra playing in these cabs. Even though, like, the cab drivers were all from different places, but for some reason, it just always happened to be Bhangra on the car. So I always had a taste for, like, music, not just in English, from other places as well. And Trinidad, where my family heritage is from, is a mishmash of stuff as well. My nan would always have soca, and there'd be reggae going on as well. And soca is such a weird mishmash of things as well, because of the way that Trinidad is situated. We're an amalgamation of multiple different cultures in one place, and it's got loads of different influences, but it's basically just like heavy party music. And it's high energy, but you've also got really slow soca as well, and you've got parang. I'm trying to remember some of the others now, but I love listening to different things.
Very eclectic. So we're all got very eclectic tastes here today. What's everyone's? Who's everyone's number one, like, live concert they've watched?
See,
I'll just say mine already, because I already know what it is. It's Beyonce. Like, both times I've gone, probably when I go again in a couple months, like, probably again. So we'll just move on from that. Other than that, I'll say Tinashe and Paramore come pretty close.
See, I don't really watch concerts that much, unless it's...
But out of all the ones you've gone to, which is your favourite one you've gone to?
Oh.
What about you, Will? Have you got yours to mind?
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I went to see Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
That was amazing, just because I was like, this is incredible. But more recently, I saw Wardruna, who are like a Norwegian folk band, but they're huge, and they're dark, and they use proper traditional instruments on stage. And this guy that writes the songs for them, he like has studied the whole history of Norwegian music, and it's just very like spiritual and very
nice.
deep. So that was quite moving. But then also probably a video of me playing on the stage.
You're gonna pick yourself, as your girl.
Work, bitch. Work.
You know what? I'm my favourite performer. No, what the fuck? Oh my god. Have you thought of your favourite live act?
Okay, yeah. So I've got a few.
Okay, try and keep it to one or two.
So it was my first band that I went to see was Apocalyptica, which I loved because it's cello metal, and they played a mixture of their new and their old stuff. Brilliant atmosphere, and it was in the Astoria before it got knocked down.
Right.
Out of the Japanese bands, it's really hard. Oh god.
Do not start listing them. Think of who is the one that you like, the experience that you're like, oh, that was amazing.
I would have to say Garugamesh.
Okay. Will, do you?
I'm not aware, but I can look them up.
They have a really funny meme, which we're going to insert here.
I love sushi.
I love Japan, period.
The tea ceremonies. J-Rock! Yeah.
Garugamesh!
Oh, yeah.
I love anime!
Yeah. And manga!
And gaming! Yeah. DDR!
Smiley K!
Hey! Sakura-kan ikimasu!
Don't just talk about it. Check out Sakura-kan, April 10 through 12. Check sakurakan.org for all the details.
So they are like, imagine if Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, that kind of era,
like new metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was slightly more electronic.
Yeah.
Bit more thrashy sometimes as well.
So a little like into Shikari, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then Japanese.
Right.
But they were a visual K band. Well, they still are.
Yeah.
They did break up, and they've recently reformed to make one track, and then have not really done anything else with it since. But yeah, that was probably one of my favourite gigs.
Nice.
Second to that would be Versailles, who are a Rococo punk band.
Right. Rococo.
Dresses, frills.
What about
was hooked.
before we end on a little shady note? Who's everyone's worst act they've seen
Oh
live?
Jesus! Where do we start?
I mean, I can name one which I think you lot are not going to expect, and also I know Portia, if you're watching, you're. Oh no, is it? I don't know if it's this guy who she likes. I can't remember, but the worst act I've ever seen live was Jake Bugg. Do you know Jake Bugg?
No.
Jake,
I can see that.
British guy. And this is why it was so he was supporting. Oh my god. Arcade Fire. Yeah, so I was watching Arcade Fire in Hyde Park, and he was supporting them. Arcade Fire were amazing,
Obviously.
absolutely incredible. Probably up there with top bands I've seen live. Like they were really, really good. But Jake Bugg just played. It was like watching like someone at a school performance. Like it was just, he had his sunglasses on the whole time. He didn't talk to the audience once. Like there was no like transition into the next song or anything like that. It was just all like stop. And he said he went hello or afternoon or something when he came on, and then when he left he went bye and left. And I was just like, this was fucking shit. What the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ, just terrible, absolutely terrible. Like, you're not that good to act that cool. Do you know what I mean? I was like, and the one song of his I actually knew, whatever his biggest song was, he didn't even play it. I was like, isn't this your number one song? Where's it? Where's it? Where's the fucking song? Oh my god, he was shit. Oh, and then a close second, maybe even tied, was Charlie XCX. I saw Charlie XCX at... Yeah, no, I'm not saying she's a bad artist. I'm not saying she's a bad artist. I know a lot of queer people
I'm just
love...
surprised it was a bad gig.
It was real bad. I saw her at Wireless, and I saw a bunch of people at Wireless. I don't remember if I was performing or doing something. I can't remember. But anyway, I was at Wireless for some reason.
Yeah.
I was either performing or watching, and fucking Charlie XCX was awful. Like, awful. I've seen videos of her performing since, and I can see that she can perform. But that day, girl was on some crack. Sorry, no, I actually didn't mean to say that. I'm so
It's too
sorry.
late, I have to do
I'm
it.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's
Put the
too bad.
screens back together. Put it back together. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Will, do you have a worst act you've seen live?
I definitely have seen some really, really awful bands recently, but I think I've blocked them out. So the two that instantly came to my mind were I saw a band live called Bear's Den, and their albums are beautiful. Like,
Right.
they're really beautiful. But live, they cut all the songs in half and they played them a lot faster, and it was just a mess.
No.
Right.
Now, one of my childhood favourite bands was Feeder.
Okay.
And I've seen them about 4 times, and the first 2 times they were good. Third time they were not great, and the
Right.
fourth time, oh my god, they were shocking.
Right.
It was so bad. And I think it was partly the crowd's fault, but it just was a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a big one that I'm forgetting that I just can't remember, so I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. But
What about you, Mel? Have you got one?
I don't... Yeah, in terms of like bands I've actually seen live,
Yeah.
I've not had one that I've been like, this is poo.
Right.
That I can
lucky you.
remember. That I
Lucky
can
you.
remember.
To be
There's
yeah.
maybe been something that I've not, like, either it's been part of something else and I've like caught a glimpse of it.
Yeah,
but,
that's what's happened for me. Because like for me, it's very rare for me to even go to the cinema and see a bad film, because I'm so like, I'm not seeing that if I even suspect it's shit. So like, I'm not gonna go to a concert of an artist I don't. But at festivals and stuff, I have seen artists where I've gone, oh, that was terrible.
Well, yeah, I've
But,
not even been to a festival.
Oh my god, sorry. I know I'm like shaking, but I really need to wee. My
well,
god.
we should end up then.
Are we at the end?
Oh, we're past the end.
Oh, okay. Well then, have a good life. Toodaloo.
Bye.
Yeah. Don't do drugs. Do drugs. I don't care. See you later. Bye.
This bitch is forever just leaving.